Now, as we just saw there, already a sizable number of companies in the UK are offering flexible work practices. Romanie Thomas is a former recruiter who saw women dropping off at the top level, mainly for family reasons. As a result, they had few options to find flexible part-time senior roles as they raised their families. So she founded Juggle Jobs, an online marketplace that matches businesses with mid to senior level professionals on a flexible basis. And she joins me today from London. Romanie, thanks so much for being with us. What drove you to create Juggle Jobs?
It was a personal frustration, really. I was having ongoing requests from clients to increase the number of women that we were presenting at a shortlist level for senior level appointments. And my area of focus was technology, so that was always going to be difficult. And I had consistently accepted that fact. And then one day I started challenging clients and saying, well, rightly or wrongly, women are taking the lion's share of the responsibility for childcare. And so even at a senior level, they really do need a degree of flexibility. And are you willing to extend that? And in which case we might be able to find you some. And what was really refreshing is lots of the businesses were coming back and saying, actually, we certainly are interested in changing our working practices and environment. This is what's happening already in our businesses, and can you help us and give us some proper insight?
So is your agency just for women?
No, it's not, although you can see from the website and the way that I'm speaking, it's certainly geared towards women, but that's simply because over 90% of flexible work requests come from women. So that's where the business is. And actually, I think women can be a driving force in changing work practices. You know, it's estimated that 70% of professionals are going to be working flexibly by 2020, and women can be the driving force there. But I think the issue is much broader than that.
In what way?
I think all of us are starting to work differently. The fact that we often don't switch off in the evenings means that surely we need greater flexibility to take on personal appointments and so on during the day. And often flexibility just means freedom. I think typically employers have been reluctant to embrace flexible working because they think it means part-time, less productivity, and you can see why that's not very competitive for a business landscape. But actually, when we've looked at this business, it really just means increased freedom, and the productivity per employee is much greater when they have greater freedom.
Now, you're targeting the high-end job market with a very conservative corporate culture. What's been the reaction from employers?
It has been good, actually, and I think timing is everything here. An example would be I was speaking to a partner at a leading London law firm, very conservative business, everything that you just mentioned, and they had recently lost a pitch to an American investment bank. And this partner had known the client for, over 20 years, so it was a real surprise. And when he picked up the phone to the client to inquire why they had lost the business, he said, "You didn't bring any women into the team that you were going to work on the assignment." And the partner sort of pushed back and said, "Well, I know that you call me at 2 a.m. in the morning, so I was considerate about who I put on the team, and it had to be people who didn't have families, male and female, by the way." And the client pushed back and said, "Well, actually, the firm who won the business, they're in the same boat, and we had the same cultural challenges as well, but they raised that and addressed it, and we're working together to make the working practice better for both parties. And we need our suppliers to be able to do that from now on." So commercially, it was starting to hit that law firm, and they realised they need to do something about it, which is really encouraging.
But Romanie, how do you actually do that, given that so many businesses, especially with online technology, are expected to be contactable at all hours? How do you introduce sort of flexible work practices that are also family friendly?
I think that is an ongoing challenge, and whilst flexible workers are in the minority, they're always going to feel the negative effects at the moment. So I think the immediate challenge is to get more senior people working in a flexible way and embracing the idea that flexibility is about freedom. And I think we'll find we'll drive the numbers up pretty quickly if that is the case.
So which sectors are more open to flexible work practices?
Some that you might not expect, actually. Our focus is looking at professional services, so law firms, accounting firms and management consultancy, which have typically been quite behind because of the client nature of those businesses, but they've realised that they're really lacking women at a top level, and they're connecting the dots that increasing women, you need to increase flexibility. There are some businesses that are really lagging behind. I would say technology is a sector as a whole, which my business is a part of, really has a lack of women, and they're doing a lot to address it, but probably not enough at the moment.
Romanie Thomas, I'm afraid we've run out of time. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.